This is SkyTour news for April 15th. I'm Amanda Curran. Today, in 1970, Apollo 13 swings behind the moon. Apollo 13 was the seventh manned mission in the Apollo space program and the third intended to land on the moon. The craft was launched on April 11, 1970, from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, but the lunar landing was aborted after an oxygen tank exploded 2 days later, crippling the service module upon which the command module had depended. Despite great hardship caused by limited power, loss of cabin heat, shortage of portable water, and the critical need to make makeshift repairs to the carbon dioxide removal system, the crew returned safely to Earth on April 17, 1970, 6 days after launch. The flight passed the far side of the moon at an altitude of 254 kilometers above the lunar surface and 400,171 kilometers from Earth on this date, making a spaceflight record, marking the furthest humans have ever traveled from the Earth. The Apollo 13 mission was to explore the Fra Mauro Formation, or Fra Mauro Highlands, named after the 80-kilometer diameter Fra Mauro crater located within it. It is a widespread, hilly, seleniological area thought to be composed of ejecta from the impact that formed the Mare Imbrium. The next Apollo mission, Apollo 14, eventually made a successful flight to Fra Mauro. Today in 1988, a large meteorite explodes over Indonesia. Though the explosions of large meteorites previously went mainly unreported, the most accurately measured blasts that have been viewed have used multiple satellite sensors, and one of the brightest in history was detected on this day in 1988. Meteoroids are rubble left over from the creation of the solar system. They are composed of ice, rock, iron, and nickel in a variety of shapes and sizes. Meteor showers and individual streaks of light that flash across the sky every night are generated when tiny flecks of celestial detritus, no larger than grains of sand or pebbles, burn up while speeding through the atmosphere. Owned by the Defense Department and meant to watch for rocket firings and nuclear explosions, these satellites detected 136 explosions high in the atmosphere, an average of 80 a year, from 1975 to 1992. In an effort known as Spacewatch, a team of astronomers used a 36-inch telescope on Kitt Peak, west of Tucson, to search the sky for asteroids in orbit around the Sun that occasionally intersect Earth's orbit and one day might strike the planet after the discovery of such large objects. Of these 136 discoveries, the blast that occurred on this date in 1988 was calculated to be equal to 5,000 tons of high explosives. It was also estimated that an observer on the ground 20 miles away would have seen a flash of light the brightness of the sun, yet at that time there were no known reports of the explosion. Today in 2010, Obama grants a $6 billion increase to NASA's budget. On this date in 2010, Obama addressed the public from Kennedy Space Center, where he announced he wanted to accelerate development of a large, heavy-lift rocket to carry astronauts beyond low Earth orbit. Pledging a transformative agenda for NASA, Obama not only provided a $6 billion increase to the NASA budget, but he also outlined a plan to have developed a spacecraft capable of journeys into deep space by 2025, and by the mid-2030s aims to have astronauts land on an asteroid, as well as orbit around and eventually land on Mars. He also quipped that he hopes to be around to see it all. Since then, NASA has developed the Orion crew capsule, whose maiden voyage was December 2014, launching atop a United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket on an uncrewed mission to Earth orbit and back. NASA also developed a gigantic new rocket called the Space Launch System, whose maiden launch is scheduled for later in 2018 and will send an uncrewed Orion on a mission around the Moon. NASA has also devised an asteroid redirect mission, which aims to pluck a boulder off an asteroid using a robotic probe. The spacecraft will then haul the boulder to lunar orbit, where astronauts can visit the space rock. NASA officials confirmed plans to have asteroids fly on an Orion SLS mission for the first time in 2021, if all goes accordingly. A crewed mission to visit the captured asteroid boulder will follow in the mid-2020s. Stay tuned and watch history unfold. This is SkyTour News. I'm Amanda Curran.